Long ago, nestled between rolling green hills and thick clusters of trees, there was a humble village where time moved gently and life was marked by the rhythm of nature. In one quiet corner of this village lived a farmer, modest in means but known for his calm demeanor and hard work. His land wasn't vast, but it provided enough to sustain him. By his side for many years was a donkey, a creature that had once been his strongest helper, pulling carts, carrying harvests, and traversing rugged paths without complaint. The donkey was no longer young. His coat had dulled to a coarse grey, his back stooped, and his steps slow. Still, the farmer allowed him to live freely, unburdened by work, to graze in the fields that had once echoed with his brays of labor. One warm afternoon, with the sun high and the breeze mild, the donkey wandered beyond his usual grazing spot. Drawn by the sweetness of wild grass near a thicket, he took steps that fate had quietly prepared for him. Concealed beneath the tall weeds was an old, forgotten well, narrow, deep, and dry. Before he could react, the ground beneath gave way. With a frightened cry and a flail of limbs, he plummeted into the darkness. His hooves scraped stone, his sides hit the wall, and finally, with a thud, he landed on the dusty floor far below. Dazed and frightened, he let out loud, anguished brays that echoed up the narrow shaft. Time passed. No one came. The donkey cried louder, his voice filled with pain and panic. Nearly an hour later, an elderly villager walking nearby heard the strange, distant sound. Curious, he followed it, his footsteps quickening. As he reached the edge of the well and peered down, he gasped. The donkey's wide, pleading eyes looked back at him. Without hesitation, the man hurried toward the village to alert the farmer. Soon, the farmer arrived, breathless and anxious, accompanied by a few concerned neighbors. They all circled the well, whispering, worrying, their faces drawn with concern. They tried ropes, pulleys, and wooden planks. But the well was too narrow, the walls too steep, and the donkey too weak to help himself. The farmer paced back and forth, wrestling with a painful thought. His heart ached at the sight, but his mind whispered of reality. The donkey was old, his body frail. Even if they managed to get him out, what life awaited him? He would never carry burdens again, nor walk long distances. After hours of failed attempts and rising despair, the farmer, shoulders heavy with sorrow, made a decision. He called the villagers close. He hesitated, I think it's time to let go. He's old, there's no saving him. We can't leave the well open either, it's dangerous. Maybe, it's better to fill it in. The silence that followed was thick with unease. The neighbors exchanged hesitant glances but, respecting the farmer's grief, slowly picked up their shovels. As the first load of dirt hit the donkey's back, he flinched in terror. His cries turned to wails. He understood now. They weren't coming to rescue him. They were burying him. Fear gripped him like a vice. His body shook, his voice cracked, but then something within him stirred. A flicker. A whisper. A will. He paused. As another shovel of dirt rained down, something inside him shifted. With trembling legs, he stood. And then, instinctively, he did something unexpected. He shook. The dirt rolled off his back and fell around his hooves. And then, he stepped on it. Another shovel of earth followed. Again, he shook it off. Again, he stepped up. Each load of dirt was meant to end him. But with every pile, he rose a little higher. Slowly, painfully, but surely. Above, the villagers continued. They stopped hearing his cries. One of them paused, curious. Why isn't he making noise anymore? The farmer leaned over and peered into the well, and what he saw stole his breath. There, rising steadily from the pit, was the donkey. Covered in dust, bruised, and weary but climbing. Every time they tried to bury him, he found strength to rise. Silence fell as more heads bent over the well. Tools dropped. eyes widened. Shovels clattered to the ground. The donkey was almost at the top. With a final push of effort, he stepped onto the rim of the well and, with a labored breath, climbed out. His legs trembled, but he stood tall. For a moment, no one moved. Then, with a quiet dignity, the donkey looked at them, each of them. Not with anger, not with fear, but with something else. Freedom. Without a sound, he turned and walked away. Slowly at first, then steadily. Toward the hills. Toward the sun. Not once did he look back. The villagers stood in stunned silence. The farmer's eyes welled with tears, not just for the donkey but for himself. In trying to end what he thought was a hopeless situation, he had underestimated the will to live. He had forgotten the fire that even the weakest heart can carry. The donkey wasn't just a creature of labor, he was a soul with resilience, grit, and quiet strength. That day, the well was sealed not to bury, but to protect. And the story of the donkey who rose from the dirt became a tale told around fires and feasts, whispered to children under starry skies, and shared in moments of struggle. The moral of the story. Sometimes in life, people will throw dirt on you, criticism, judgment, rejection, or even abandonment. Problems will pile up. You'll feel stuck, lost, buried. And just like that donkey, you may cry. You may feel like giving up. But you must remember, you hold the power to rise. Each hardship, each insult, each failure, if you learn to shake it off and step on it, it can lift you higher. You don't need to be the strongest, the fastest, or the smartest. What you need is the will to keep climbing. The donkey didn't escape because someone pulled him out. He saved himself because he refused to let the dirt bury him. And you can do the same. Life isn't always fair. People may give up on you. But don't ever give up on yourself. When the world says, "You're done," you say, "Watch me rise." You're stronger than you think. So keep going. Step up. And never stop climbing.